looking at explosions?
Well, how about watching explosions in reverse?
And do we have the movie for you? It's called Tenet, and we're gonna kind of be reviewing it today.
Kind of, yes.
We saw it, and we watched it.
And that's about it?
That's about it, yeah. We tried to follow along. It was a challenge.
Yes.
Christopher Nolan is not very simple. Like, what kind of guy do you have to be to make movies like that? Like,
for 2 hours and 30 minutes, we were like, I'm not getting anything.
Yeah. That's how what? It was I tried. Like, I remember right when the lights turned off and the movie started, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And like, I followed along for a little bit.
Yeah, we were both like that.
But then yeah, we were both like ready. Ready to fight.
We're like training for this. This is like the marathon of movies.
I know. And then like they started talking, and I'm like, what was that? And like I was never good at understanding like spy things like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the spy genre. I just can't keep up with that.
Yeah, like even when the movie started, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pay close attention.
I was so
I'm gonna turn my brain on right now. And then as soon as they started speaking, I was like,
everything happened so fast. It's a fast-paced movie. I guess that's a good thing about it.
yeah,
but it doesn't give you any.
It's not really slow.
Not at all.
It's not at all slow, but
it has an unrelenting pace.
Yeah.
You know, like, it does not give you time to stop and digest the exposition that
it gives you too much exposition. It's like, here, take this.
Yeah. You'll have like 10 minutes where you're just completely in the dark, and then they'll throw, bam, all the exposition on you in like 10 seconds, and you're like, wait, what was that? And then it moves on, and it's just the next thing, right?
It wasn't even halfway through when I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try to understand this anymore because there's so much that I have not processed already.
Alright, so how about do some of our honest thoughts? What are some of your honest thoughts about the actual movie? Before we start talking, heavy spoilers. We're gonna actually give an actual warning for this just because it's a newer movie.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it yet and you
want to go see it,
I know how much you love watching these. But unless if you want to ruin it on yourself,
or if you just don't plan on seeing the movie and really don't care,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So what are some of your honest thoughts about it?
Okay, so the main character doesn't have a name. He's called the protagonist, and I had to look on Google to find that out, and I think that's pretty badass.
It's pretty awesome. It really is. Like, I remember I was watching it. I'm like, what's his name? I didn't know anyone's name.
Yeah.
Aside from like.
By the end of the movie, I figured out, like, two of them, like, okay, so there's Neil, Andre.
I knew Andre, and then at the very last scene, he was like, wait, Neil! I'm like, oh, that's his name, okay. Yeah. That's when I figured it out. But we were walking out, I'm like, what was his name? What was the protagonist's name?
Like, legit, the credits just roll up, and we're like, what was the main guy's name?
Yeah.
We looked on, and it was the protagonist.
I think it's pretty awesome, though. Like, that really, that really gives a layer to the movie. Maybe, I don't know. I don't understand, Christopher Nolan. You're gonna have to explain it to us, buddy. So if you're watching this video, Christopher Nolan, please let us know, and maybe you'll be on the show. Who knows? But yeah, some of my honest thoughts. I love time travel movies. I love time travel so much, and I'm not big on the spy genre. And this was. You know,
like spies sounds cool, but then when you start watching it, it just gets too complicated and stuff.
Yeah, I just get completely lost.
Yeah.
And call me a bad movie watcher. Okay, it's not. I can't follow along with that. Yeah. But there's parts in Tenet where heavy spy stuff. Like so in the beginning, when after the opera house when he dies, right? Like he takes the pill and dies, and then they bring him back to life or whatever, and they tell him all about Tenet, and we're getting all the exposition. After that point in the movie, for a while, it's a while before there's any heavy time travel stuff. It's all spy stuff for a good portion of the movie, and I remember just being completely lost in the spy stuff. Like, all right, yeah, but when are they gonna start doing reverse things like that? But then we got paid off with that
Yeah.
in the climax.
The only part of the reverse technology and stuff, the only part of that I actually understood was when he was in the lab with the one girl. And I thought that was pretty cool, but for the rest of the movie, I didn't understand a thing.
I love the
It
one
was
part.
very...
The one part that explained most of it to me was when he actually got inverted. When he
It's a
actually
cool scene. I didn't understand
Oh,
it,
it
but
was so cool because I don't really understand why he was doing it, but like it was so cool how like he was moving in normal pace, but everything else was going reverse. Because throughout the movie we see these reverse things happening, like the car flipping over and everything, and it turns out he was in the car, so that's pretty awesome. But like the people who are in reverse see everything else as in reverse. Like that's what they said. Like keep in mind, you're inverted, the world is not. And like it was so cool, and it did bring a lot of light to the other things in the movie. Like, oh, that's what they were doing. So maybe on a second viewing, maybe it's one of those movies like on a second viewing it'll be better. Like
yeah,
Inception.
probably.
But
at least with Inception, once you were finished with Inception, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it because that'll be like a future review. But when I finished watching Inception for the first time, I had a really good gist on what it was about.
Yeah.
When Tenet was over, I was still like, what?
Yeah, a lot happened. Technical wise though, the action was so cool. I loved it. The gunshots, the sounds, like the punching sounds were so loud. Like we were in an IMAX theater.
Yeah, we
and
were.
I felt like we were this.
We were like in the center of the theater.
Yeah.
And everything was.
I felt like I was in IMAX.
You felt like you were in the corner of an IMAX, like right under the speaker.
Yeah. Like that's how it was. And yeah, I just felt like that. Like every single time there was a gun. Like, the whole beginning of the movie, the opera house was so loud, and I was just like, I couldn't handle it.
Something that I also want to bring up though is the music.
Oh.
It is unlike any other. The score is
really good.
killer.
It was really good.
It
score.
was so just.
I think
It's very modern.
it wasn't Hans Zimmer who did it. It was Ludwig Göransson, if that's how you pronounce it.
Ludwig Göransson.
He does a bunch of stuff, I know. But yeah, Tenet. The whole climax, I'll say, when he's what was it? It was like he was in this desert fighting these people who were inverted. And the girl was on the ship with the Russian guy.
Yeah.
And it was just happening both at the same time. I didn't understand the thing with the yacht.
It was strange because like when they were in the area, like just fighting and going on, just
Yeah.
and they were on the yacht. It was like a crazy.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. I mean, like okay, these have to be.
So this is
connected
happening.
somehow.
This is crazy active. This scene, I'm feeling very uncomfortable.
But
I didn't understand the shift in it. It was just
it's weird.
strange.
She puts suntan lotion on the guy's back, and then she just stops, and the guy's laying there with suntan lotion on his back, and she doesn't rub it in because like she leaves. Movie had to happen. So he's like, "What's going on?" And he leans over against the guy, and I'm like, "Oh no, man, why did you do that?" I got
also
so mad
thought
at
that. I
that
was
one
like,
scene.
Why you got it all over the cushion?
And then he was like that, and the camera was in frame where you saw like part of his back, and it was all like smudged on his back and everything.
And then I was thinking in my head, I thought she squirted on a lot more sunscreen than what was actually on his back. It was like,
yeah. Continuity error. Now the sunscreen doesn't add up. So, what can I say?
I didn't understand the setting too much. Like, in the beginning it was in an opera house in Russia, and then it kept going back and forth
That's the thing with
between
the
like
spies.
Russia and England, and then for like a few short scenes they were in Capri in Italy, the Amalfi Coast, and I was actually there. Like in one of the scenes when they were on the dock, I was like leaning over to him. I was like, "Yo, I was there! I was there!" And I got really excited for that part.
I wasn't. But what else do we have to talk about? I like how a lot of the stuff from earlier in the movie come into play later on.
Oh yeah.
Like how the movie, like the timeline, like that we see in the movie is kind of like that. Like how it starts over here, and then like this is like the definitive end point. But then we go see it when they're inverted, and we see the thing like the fight scene, the hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
When they crash the airplane into the building, and it's the protagonist and the guy who happens to be the protagonist, and we see the same fight scene twice, but the second time it's just reversed. And it's such a cool concept. Like when I was watching, I was like, oh.
Each time it's the same guy, but from a different point of view, and each time it's like one is moving forwards in time and the other one is moving backwards in time.
Like that's such a cool concept. The time travel rules really hurt my head. I think about it because I love time travel and I always try to figure it out. Don't think about it too hard though. Like if you're gonna watch this movie, that's what I would say. Like don't try to fact check all the exposition. Try to understand it yourself. Just take what they say as like, okay, yeah, that happens. Like, don't waste time trying to do that. Focus on the movie.
A lot of the stunts, all of the stunts, right, are done like. Legit.
I think so. I mean, like,
a notable one is the plane crash into like the building, though. That was. That entire scene was just like, wow.
Loud. It was loud.
It was very loud.
It was so cool. Like I felt like the airplane actually crashed into the theater. But like I was thinking, like, did the movie theater just like the volume just like go all the way up just in their theater? Because I felt like I was in IMAX.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome thing about the movie.
Something adding on to the real stunts is the cinematography. It's so well done
the shots,
that it really like enhances and adds an overall great feel to just the action because it's all authentic.
Definitely, and even it's great because I'm sure it tells a great story that I didn't catch on to.
But we'll eventually figure it out. After this is done.
And even if you don't figure it out, it's a gorgeous movie to watch. I had so much fun. The whole climax, like we said when it was cutting like the battlefield and like the yacht.
Yeah.
The whole climax, I didn't understand at all, but I enjoyed watching it so much just because like the whole thing was structured kind of like how I said like the timeline of the movie was structured. Like the whole final battle, the whole like battle, like the war or whatever. It was all structured like that because we see, you know, all these people running and like shooting and everything like that, and all these explosions going up, and we also see inverted explosions and inverted people running. And then by the end of the movie, or by the end of that scene, the people who we saw were the people who were inverted from earlier before, and the explosions that were going off now were the inverted explosions that we saw 10 minutes ago.
It was just crazy to see like inverted explosions and then aftermath explosions like right after it, especially with the buildings. I thought that was like incredible.
The building's awesome,
Like just the rubble come back into like a solid structure and then like explode back up again towards the top.
I didn't understand why they did anything, but I was happy they did because it looked awesome.
Yes.
Like, well, why are you shooting that building? Because I'm sure there's a reason.
Awesome movie stuff.
Christopher Nolan, again, if you're watching this, please tell us the reason. Also, I really love how in the beginning of the movie there's like a classic time travel thing that they didn't even draw that much attention to, but I really enjoyed it. How at the beginning of the movie they were saying how the inverted things were sent to them by the future, and they're being sent back in time, and they don't know, they haven't invented it yet, but by the end of the movie, they do invent it. And it happens so slowly, and you see the protagonist slowly, like, master this, and I just think that's so cool. Like how, like, that's the turning point, the minute he gets inverted. That's like when they invented it, and like it sounds like the bullet from the lab in the beginning. Like it's awesome. It's just a cool movie to watch. I'm sure it's cool to understand. We don't have that advantage though.
Yeah, we are not at all qualified to critically review this, but we can, and we are.
We made it this far, so let's try to get through the rest of this. What else do we have to talk about?
Something else that I didn't really understand was they were making this movie out to be with the inverted objects. They said, oh, we're thinking this is the start of World War III. What? I never really caught on to the World War III. Like, it was mentioned in the beginning, and yeah, there was, like, a war in the end, but it was just on a single battlefield.
I think they were,
I didn't understand.
I think they were trying to prevent, like...
I never really understood that.
We don't even understand the movie. No, I don't even know. No, I think it was like, you know, like they said they could, like, alter reality if they didn't succeed in the thing, like they could, like, change everything.
What?
Like,
what?
The algorithm, they were talking about the algorithm a lot.
Yeah.
And so, like, if the algorithm is in play, then they could alter everything. And I guess, like, they stopped that, and that's what he was saying at the end. Like, one of, like, the last lines in it, he was saying, like, people don't care about the bomb that never went off, only the bomb that did. And that they stopped the bomb, so that never went off. So that's what they're saying, like, nobody cares about it, but it happened.
We are exhausted.
I need to lay down after this movie.
We considered, like, laying down and reviewing this because it was just so tiring to watch and process everything. It was 2 hours and 30 minutes of non-stop, unrelenting, just...
stuff. Time travel, spies, and explosions, boom. Like, that's what it was. So much stuff.
Protagonist.
So my head was hurting. And, like, as soon as my head started hurting, one of the characters would say, like, is your head hurting? Yeah. And I'd be like, yes, man, it is. In the beginning, I leaned over to you. It was like when he first got taken into the lab, like when they were like catching the bullets and everything, like, right toward the beginning, and she was like explaining everything to him, throwing all this exposition at us, and she's like, "Don't attempt to understand it." I'm like, "Okay, I think that was for us."
Yeah, that was the one line in the movie telling everyone, "Okay, just don't try to process or try to understand everything. Just shut off your brain and enjoy." But it was still hurting because my mind was just telling me to try to understand it, because when you understand something, I feel like I enjoy something so much more.
Yeah, but some movies, you know, like, I'm sure upon another viewing of this, I'll understand it more. Would you watch it again, do you think?
Yeah, just to try and understand it. Like, on a second viewing, I think I would understand it more, have a better grasp on it. Not like the best grasp on it, but I think I would understand it more and therefore enjoy it a lot better.
I was actually thinking about that. Like, I don't think it has killer rewatch value like other movies. I think like the only rewatch value it has is to understand it better.
Exactly. Yes.
But like, I wouldn't buy a ticket for it again.
Yeah. If it was on Netflix though,
I might watch some scenes of it in 30 years if it's on TV. I'll put it on. It wasn't a bad movie. It's just a lot at one time. It's just a lot. The movie, I feel like, changes so many times. It's a spy movie. Then it's a time travel movie. Then there's a lot more spousal abuse than you'd expect. And then there's the thing with the suntan lotion. There's just so much things in the movie. And like, it changes, you know, so much. Then there's like the thing at the end. I forgot what I was talking about. It was the thing at the end.
When Neil was going onto the helicopter with the guy.
Yeah, whatever.
He was explaining to the protagonist that he was the one that created Tenet. Is that what you're trying to talk about?
Yeah.
Or did you just lose your train of thought? This is what Tenet did to him.
No, like, I knew. I remember watching the movie like toward the end and being like, "Wow, I gotta talk about this when we're filming this," and now I can't think of it. Doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Himesh Patel is in this. I love that guy. I love Yesterday. I think that was his only other movie that he was in.
We saw Yesterday.
It's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. It's good. And he's in this movie. And he doesn't do much. He just kind of like stands there like, and he has like a thick beard and everything.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. That's a good movie and a good review for another time. I feel like I would have a better time just trimming a bonsai tree. That would be a better, more enjoyable, tedious process than trying to understand this movie.
Whoa, that was... Dude, this bonsai tree? Dude, that was such a natural setup and plug for a future review that we're gonna do. The Karate Kid. Great movie, right? Don't you think that's a great movie?
Yes.
It's an awesome movie.
It's a very great movie.
Let's not talk too much about it.
Let's not, yeah.
We'll get it another time. After the movie, I pointed out to Ethan, you understand the poster more. Because the poster, it's him walking and then it's him turned around, looking back, and he has like the mask on.
Yeah.
It's cool because like whenever he has the mask on, he's inverted. But like, it's so cool to watch. I loved it so much. Just like looking at the things being reversed, mixed with the things not being reversed.
It's a very cool, crazy concept.
It's eye candy. It's so fun to look at. Even if you don't understand the plot, you'll have a ton of fun watching it. It's great. It really is. And like, I can see it being like Inception in the future, like referenced, and like, you know, whenever I see something in reverse now, I'm gonna think of Tenet. Yeah. When I walked out of the theater, and like when we saw cars going by, I was expecting to see some cars go backwards, and I think that's just a normal thing by the end of the movie. It immerses you in the movie.
You gotta have respect for the actors, because like I remember you telling me that they actually acted in reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they had to act in reverse so that when they actually put it in reverse, it looked like they were going normal.
Like, for example, when the protagonist was fighting himself.
Yeah. That was such a good scene. That was such a great scene. I don't know why he was fighting him. I don't know why he had to go back and fight himself. But it just looked so cool. It's like the it's like the rover on the moon chase in Ad Astra.
F9, Flight of the Furious, but on the moon.
Ad Astra. Oh.
There was a rover chase on the moon.
It was such a good scene. They had like stormtrooper guns. It was such a good scene. And
but it was entirely unnecessary.
The rest of the movie was just so weird.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. How many movies...
Are we really going to review Ad Astra on here? Are we really going to do that? Maybe. Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah, but like, again, this is a Tenet review, not an Ad Astra review.
There's so many, like, actors from other Christopher Nolan movies in it, like,
that you probably won't be able to recognize.
I swear. You know
I know that person.
In Inception, you know the chemist in Inception. I swear I thought he was in it.
The chemist. I don't remember the
guy who made the sedative.
No. I need to rewatch Inception.
It's a great movie. But yeah, I thought he was in it. Michael Caine was in it. He's in every Christopher Nolan movie, and he was in like one scene of this. I don't know why. I don't know what that whole stuff was. The spy stuff I didn't get. So for a good chunk of the movie, it lost me. Another thing. Just thought of this. I like how some like montages of like explaining the plan to someone, then that person explaining the plan to someone else, and then the plan actually being done. They weren't shot like that. It was shot non-linear. Like there was one shot of explaining the plan, then there was another shot of the plan being done. Then there was another shot of the guy explaining the plan to somebody else, and then it was so weird.
It was three different scenes just going.
It took me a little bit to figure out like what's going on here, but then I figured like, oh, it's non-linear. Like that's so cool. Yeah. It was such a cool touch to the movie, and I just think it's such a creative concept, such a cool movie. Yeah, it's worth a watch. It definitely is.
I don't know about a rewatch, but a first watch, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd give it a rewatch.
Just to understand
to look at the stuff and to understand it. So, that was our Tenet review. Call it a review. Call it just two people who just saw the movie trying to talk about it. Your choice.
It's not a recap at all.
And you probably don't feel any different after watching this. But hey, we wanted to do this.
We did.
Thank you for watching to the end.
Thank you so much.
If you liked the video, click the like button.
Absolutely.
If you didn't like it, still, click the like button.
Yes.
Subscribe to us.
Subscribe.
Leave a comment talking about if you saw Tenet. If you didn't, just talk to us. What do you want us to talk about in the future? Whatever. Do you want to be on the show? Are you Christopher Nolan?
Let us
Let us know. But other than that, we'll see you next time, and we want to talk to you about stuff.